plaintiff, Leslie Parkins, started dating the defendant after they met online. But 3 weeks after Leslie allowed her to move in, she was forced to kick her out because she was selling prescription pills. Leslie's suing her ex-girlfriend for stolen property and harassment. Defendant Judith Hekimovich says Leslie is violent, and after she attempted to strangle Judith, she had Judith falsely arrested. Judith is countersuing for the arrest and unreturned property.
Start with you.
Judge Mathis, 2010 in January, I met Judy Hekimovich online. I know how you feel about online.
You know I do.
I do, yes, I do. Anyway, we talked for about 5 months on the phone and online.
Okay.
We decided to meet in June.
All right, 5 months.
And she came down to Rockford, Illinois, met me. We started seeing each other. Things worked out pretty good. And at the time, she had lost her home. And she didn't really have a place to go. At least that's what she told me. So I thought I'd be decent. I'm seeing her.
You did have a place to stay.
Absolutely, she's lying.
Okay.
But we'll get to that.
All right.
Yeah, it's called a camper.
All right, all right. You tell your lie, then we're going to let her tell her lie. All right?
That'll work.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Judy did move in with me.
Okay.
She moved in, and 3 weeks later, she moved out.
Oh, she found a place.
No, I caught her selling some Vicodin in my mailbox. That was the last straw.
What was the first straw? You were only together 3 weeks. How many straws could you have had in 3 weeks?
I had told her she had to leave. She did. The unfortunate part is she went to my friend's house and said that she really messed up, you know. And 3 months later, yeah, I did it again.
So you gave her another chance?
She did not move in. She would come down periodically. I told her, you're not moving in, I don't trust you.
Okay.
So she would come down to Rockford. We would see each other, spend time together. And then I find out, this time not through the mailbox, this time she's selling to neighbors.
Ma'am, let me hear some background from you before we get to the
Absolutely.
stolen property that she's suing you for.
Things were really good for quite a while. And then I found that when things don't go exactly Leslie's way, she gets very upset and belligerent. But
All right,
then
so
I come to find out that her past 3 relationships have all ended in violence. She had told my brother that she had gotten violent with those other people.
Stand up. What did you want to say? State your name.
James Hekimovich.
What do you want to say?
I'd like to say that shortly after my sister had met Leslie, she had brought Leslie up to meet my family. We were very cautious of her to begin with, her foul language, her violent physical demeanor.
She walked around with her hands up? What do you mean her
she
demeanor was
you know,
violent?
She would go off.
She was threatening people?
She would go off on my sister over nothing.
Threaten her?
And barrel chest her and holler at her.
All right.
And things that didn't set well with my family.
Okay.
She was asked not to
return
to any of my family functions after
Who
that.
asked that?
Her son.
I have an affidavit here.
All right. Let's get on to the other parts of the relationship before we get to the stolen property and harassment. Were you selling drugs out of the house?
No, sir.
Actually, I couldn't prove it, but yes, it was at the, I did tell the police that.
Did they write it down?
No, they did not. He just made the comment that she had a fishing tackle box full of drugs.
All right, let's get to what you have for me on. She had what?
She has a fishing tackle box about like this, full of drugs. Morphine, Vicodin. Cop couldn't believe it either when he arrested her.
She had it on her?
Yes. She came in the house with the police officer.
Man, were you arrested with a bucket of, what do you say, Vicodin, morphine, and whatever else?
Yes. I had my personal medication with me. There was some morphine and there was some Vicodin in there, yes.
Some.
Okay, you have some type of injury?
Yes.
What type?
Low back injury due to a car accident.
How long ago?
7 years, 2 surgeries, and a neurostimulator implant.
All right, that does sound pretty bad. Let's get to the stolen property and the harassment. What happened?
Judy's vehicle was in my driveway. She was getting her truck fixed and leaving to go back to Minnesota. I got there. I started taking care of my yard, my pond and stuff. I walk up, she's sitting on my deck. I'm like, what are you still doing here? well, I don't have the money to get my truck fixed. I said, that's not my problem. And I walked in the house.
Your Honor.
I walked in the house. When you walk in my house, there's a stairway, and then the left. She shoved me. I almost went down the stairs. Then she went out on the deck, which I have pictures of her. For somebody who has a bad back, she can really wallop. That's the stuff she was shoving all over my deck. I went outside to pick up the grill. As you can see, there's a ramp there. When I leaned over to pick up the grill, she shoved me down the ramp.
Another lie, Your Honor.
I ran into the house with the dogs, locked the door, and I called 911.
Did they come?
Yes, they did. They talked to both of us. I told them what happened.
Let me see the report. Then what?
The police talked to me. The policeman talked to her. He walked into me, and he goes, you're the one that's got the marks on you?
Another lie.
And they ended up arresting Judy.
The stolen property, where does that
Your
come
Honor,
in?
if I may.
About a week after, Judy came to my home. She went into my home. She took my big screen TV, my dog, right out of the yard.
Okay, let me hear from you, ma'am.
She came at me, started grabbing me and pushing me and
Because of
everything.
what?
Because she wanted me to leave. Well, I didn't have my vehicle. And I said, I will leave. As soon as my truck is done, I am out of here, trust me. And she's kept badgering me and badgering me. And so I went to leave, and as I walked out the front porch, she started in on my family and started belittling my family. And then I did turn around and I did get into her face. Absolutely, I did. But I did not touch her.
Okay.
And I then went to the deck, sat on the deck. She grabbed me. She pulled me out of the chair. She grabbed my personal items, threw them off of the deck. I said, what the hell is going on? I kicked my chair over. I knocked over the bistro set.
Were you there when the police came?
Yes, absolutely.
Did they speak with you?
Absolutely.
And they took you to jail?
Yes. She then grabbed me by the throat like this and started squeezing me. At that point...
Did you have marks on your throat?
I did. I had my throat was red. I had
Did the police
scratch.
see it?
Yes, but
Why didn't they arrest her?
The only thing I'm thinking is because she had black and blue marks all over her body because she's a truck driver, and she loads and unloads her own freight. And I had red marks on my chest, red marks on my neck, and a scratch on the back of my neck, and my arms were also red.
Enough. Now the property. Tell me about that. Did you come back the next week and take property that didn't belong to you?
No, I did not. Although I did take property.
What did you take?
I took my dog, which I have records showing here.
Let's see it, please.
It's my dog.
I have papers right here from Avid.
Who purchased the dog?
She bought the dog.
So what papers do you have?
She gave me the dog.
All right, what do you have?
I have the papers from
indicating
Avid.
ownership. Let's see it with your name on there, indicating that you are the owner.
I have the vet.
The most recent date, that would be the indication. I'm looking for a date, and I'm going to go with this one. June 22nd says Leslie Parkins owns the dog. Take a look at it yourself. Circled at the bottom. One issued ownership papers as of March. That's what you gave me. Her ownership papers were as of June. So I'm going to go with the most recent issue of ownership. Now, let's get to the other items. The television. Was it your television that you took?
It was a television that we had both bought together. She paid $125 on it, and I paid the rest.
Is that true?
No, we didn't buy anything together, Your Honor.
Who paid for it?
Right here's the receipt.
All right.
The sticker's off the box, and the box is at my house. My credit card number's on
And
it.
it's in your name, Leslie Parkins. So
Your
the
Honor,
presumption
I can
is
show
it is.
you where she gets $1,600 per month.
No,
and her
we're not
bills.
going with her income. She could have got it from her new girlfriend or old girlfriend. I don't know.
Oh, thank you.
Now, your counterclaim, false arrest and personal property that you're countersuing her for $4,000. For what?
The false arrest is because she lied to the police officer. The other property, and I have affidavits for that also, is for a stove, refrigerator, patio set, ceiling fans, light fixtures.
Ma'am, you can't take the woman's lights.
They're my lights, Your Honor.
You can't take the light. You can't. Ma'am?
I have
Is the fan a fixture attached to the
Yes,
home?
Yes,
What
there
about the
is.
lights? What type of lights are they attached to the
stone
home?
light- yeah, they're
All
attached
right,
to the
ma'am, those are
ceiling.
considered fixtures. You can't take fixtures, whether it's an apartment, condo, or home. You thereby enhance the value of the property, but it is then the owner's. Refrigerator, stove, and patio chairs.
Yes, Your Honor. When she moved out, she had the chance to take that stove and refrigerator. I have a witness right here when her brother and her son were at my house.
Did she try and
loading.
come back and get it?
No.
She never contacted you?
She told me, that showed me and everybody standing there that she was not taking it with her. She gave it to me.
All right. Did you give her the stove and refrigerator?
I did not, Your Honor. I did not.
What is that you want to show me?
It's an affidavit of the gentleman that hooked it up and everything, and it says in here that...
How does he know whether you gave it to her when you moved just because he hooked it up when you moved in?
What happened
Did you
was
want to speak?
She made the statement that once things move into this house, they become mine.
What do you want to tell me?
I was there the day that she moved out, and I was in the porch when her brothers and her son asked, "Do you want to take the stove and the refrigerator?" And she said, "No, Leslie can have it."
Your Honor, I didn't have room on my truck.
Why didn't you go back after that?
Because I have police reports and restraining order.
Do you have
that
in
I
your
can't
police?
go.
Do you have something in the police report that says she refuses to give me the stove and refrigerator?
No, I do not.
Gotcha. Your harassment claim, ma'am, is for what?
Well, I can't. I go and get my hair cut. She comes from Minnesota and comes down to the same place I've been going to for 14 years to get my hair cut.
Her hair.
She can't get her hair cut the same place. Is that your point?
I just think it's awful fun. Minnesota.
You think what?
I think it's awful strange that of all the places to go. I also belong to a private club. I've been a member 5 years. When I got the no stalking, no contact order on her, the judge stood there and said, "You live in Minnesota, go to Minnesota, leave her alone, find another club to be. You're not supposed to be there." We left that day, me, Deanne, went down to the club, and Judy comes in. Right after we left court.
All right. I'm going to make my decision here today. And first of all, with regard to the stolen property, I am going to grant you the dog because you have produced evidence. You are the sole owner. The television for $500. It's $1,540 I'll grant you for your property that I believe she took unlawfully. I'm not going to grant any harassment to you, ma'am, just because she goes to the same beauty parlor and then goes to the same private club. With regard to the false arrest, ma'am, false arrest is made when someone intentionally calls the police without probable cause, and when you're fighting, yeah, that's when the police is supposed to come. You, by your own admission, say you all were fighting. Therefore, it was with probable cause. So I'm not granting you anything for the false arrest. With regard to your personal property, I am convinced that you left that there for her use and or ownership. And lastly, the lights and the fan are fixtures that are not to be taken along with other personal properties when one moves. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed. $1,540. Have a good day, ladies.
Shame on the next one that ever gets involved with her, because you'll go to court and you will be arrested.
Look out, America.
Leave me alone, find another place to be, somebody else to stalk, unfortunately.